Good morning. Today we're going to be reading chapter 17, and our focus question has remained the same. We're going to collect more evidence. How does the narrator's point of view affect the reader's interpretation of what's happening? Alright, so let's review what happened in chapter 16 with our fill-in-the-blank summary. Pay attention because I'm going to give you the answers to the fill-in-the-blank. After they got off the train, Homer and Mr. Willow get lost on their way to the steamship. Kate trips and falls into Mr. Willow's arms. Her brother Frank thanks Mr. Willow. And they discover they will all be on the same steamship headed to New York. Homer does not trust Frank and Willow. You can rewind it if you need to re-listen again. If you miss some of the blanks, you can press pause to write down your answer, or you can focus on this vocabulary. The first word is terminal, and that's a station or a point on the train. So if you're riding the metro, the Mount Vernon Square metro stop has a terminal. It's the place where you get off the train at, or get onto the train. All right, the next word is enterprise, and that's a business or a company. Today we're going to be using our CSPS strategy, and we're going to be beginning at page 89. I'm at the top of page 89, message for Homer Fick. So I'm reading, we're going to be thinking about who is Homer, where is he, what's his problem, and how does he try to solve it. Live in a barn and you get used to having all kinds of creatures around, horses and cows and pigs, and wild things like owls and mice and snakes. One time, Harold and I watched a fat black snake swallow a little gray mouse. It was the most amazing thing because the mouse never tried to get away. It was like the mouse knew it was snake food and didn't want to make trouble. That's pretty much how Mr. Willow acts about the beautiful Kate Nibley. His eyes even blink like mouse eyes, and he shivers like a mouse when she says things like, "Oh, really, Webster? How simply fascinating!" Or, "What's your opinion, Webster? Should I wear the pearl necklace, or do you prefer the amber?" So we'll stop right here. So it sounds like Homer is concerned for Mr. Willow. He says he's like a mouse that's about to get eaten by a snake. So if Mr. Willow is the mouse, that means Kate Nibley is like the snake. So if Homer, when we're thinking about Homer and who he is, we could say Homer is concerned for Mr. Willow because he thinks he's going to get tricked by Kate. Homer is concerned for Mr. Willow because he thinks he's going to get tricked by Kate. So like one of those times where if you have a crush on someone, you don't necessarily notice all of the bad things about them. You are just focused on the fact that you like them. And that's kind of like how Mr. Willow is acting right now. Okay, and when we're thinking about the setting, we know they're at a restaurant near the steamship. Homer, Mr. Willow, Frank, and Kate are at a restaurant near the steamship. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready. to keep reading, and let's listen out for Homer's problem. We know from yesterday it's going to have something to do with Frank and Kate. Bottom of page 89. Haven't known her 5 minutes, and already she's Kate and he's Webster, and you think they've been sweethearts for years. We're sitting in a little restaurant at the steamship terminal. Okay, that's the setting. Eating butter muffins dipped in chocolate and glasses of ice-cold milk. Miss Nibley is busy making Mr. Willow feel like he's the most important man who ever lived, and her brother Frank is being so nice to me. Okay, and right now Homer is suspicious of why they are being so nice. They don't even know these people, and they're being really nice. Let's keep reading. You say your brother was sold into the army? Extraordinary. What a terrible injustice. The whole purpose of the war is to end slavery, is it not? I don't know what the purpose is, I tell him, talking around the mouthful of muffins. I just don't want Harold getting killed is all. Of course you don't, Frank says, sipping delicately at his glass of milk. The loyal brother, how touching. And you say this enterprise, this urgent journey to free your brother, is being financed by Jebediah Brewster of the famous Brewster Mines? I didn't say no such thing, but Mr. Willow did, blurting out all our private business the first time Miss Nibley asked. How Mr. Brewster is testing his character by sending him as my guardian, and how he has letters of introduction to very important people, and how he's been instructed to purchase Harold's release if it comes to that. He does everything but show her the money entrusted to him by Mr. Brewster, and that's only because I jump on his shoe. Okay, so this is a really important part, and it gets at Harold's problem. Harold's problem is that Mr. Willow is telling these strangers, Kate and Frank, all of their business. And Mr. Willow has given away the fact that they are carrying a lot of money from this famous rich person, Mr. Brewster. So Homer's problem is that Mr. Willow is telling these strangers, Kate and Frank, all their business about how much money they are carrying, and how the money is from a rich person, Jebediah Brewster. And so you're already thinking Homer is probably nervous. He already doesn't trust Kate and Frank, so he's probably nervous about what Frank and Kate are up to. Press pause to write down your answer in box 3, and press play when you're ready to keep reading. Bottom of page 90. Homer, what's gotten into you? He asked, rubbing his skinny foot. Time we got to the ship, Mr. Willow. There's no hurry, said Frank Nibley, showing me his teeth. No hurry at all. But the other passengers are saying their goodbyes and starting to board the steamship Orion, and the stewards are loading up trunks and baggage, and clouds of smoke are coming out of the smokestack. Mr. Willow finally notices what's happening and jumps up like somebody stuck him with a darning needle. The boy is right, he blurts. We must go. Can't miss the ship. When Mr. Willow makes it clear we really do have to board, I figured that will be the end of it, because something tells me the Nibleys don't really have tickets for the steamship, but want to trick us into missing our boat so they can figure out how to fool Mr. Willow into giving them the money. Underline that sentence, this whole paragraph on page 91. Homer now feels like he figured out the plan, what Kate and Frank's plan is for Mr. Willow. He's thinking they want to trick Mr. Willow into giving them the money that was meant for Harold. Okay, let's keep reading. They're after the money. I know it, and Frank knows it, and Kate knows it. The only one who doesn't know what's really going on is poor Mr. Willow. I grab him by the cuff and drag him to the gangway into the crowd of passengers who are boarding. He keeps looking back at Miss Sibley and she keeps batting her eyelashes, but finally we're up the top of the gangway and the man is asking for our tickets. So Homer tries to solve his problem by making Mr. Willow aware that the steamship is leaving and actually dragging him by the shirt onto the steamship. Write your answer down in box 4. Press pause if you need more time and play to get started. All right, and then you have time to answer your paragraph. How does the narrator's point of view affect the reader's interpretation of what happened?